Madame Drigola, s'il vous plaît. La parole est à vous.
The floor is yours.
Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alla Drigola, and I'm the Director of Parliamentary Affairs and SME Policy at the Canadian Chamber of Commerce. I would like to start off by thanking the government, parliamentarians, and the public service for their efforts in helping Canadians and businesses weather the storm over the last 8 months. COVID-19 has not been easy, and the collaboration between government and business has been most welcome. 8 months into this global pandemic, we are seeing a departure from uniform business decline and instead are deep into what economists are calling a K-shaped recovery. The reality is many sectors are doing well. Many have been able to pivot, adapt, and innovate, and the amount of support they require has reduced. But there are also certain sectors that are not recovering and require ongoing and additional support. Sectors like tourism, travel, accommodations, food service, restaurants. These sectors fundamentally rely on a physical presence to do business and will not be able to recover until we are on the other side of the pandemic. These are the sectors that primarily employ the demographics most impacted by the pandemic: women, young Canadians, new Canadians, and ethnic minorities. While the government has introduced a range of business support programs, the two in question today are of the utmost importance for these sectors. While the Canadian Chamber of Commerce welcomes the changes introduced in Bill C-9 on the whole, there are a few glaring issues that we feel need to be improved in order for these programs to support the struggling sectors I mentioned previously. First, we would like to see the Canada Emergency Wage Subsidy, or CEWS, increased to at least the 75% rate that was provided to businesses during the first wave. Hard-hit businesses need more income support during the second wave, not less. The program's current design provides government an option to tailor the 75% support to just the businesses that need it most. Increasing the maximum subsidy top-up from 25% to 35% will allow the hardest hit sectors to receive a total subsidy of 75% when combined with the base subsidy of 40%. I should also note that an additional change made to the CEWS program in July also means that employers must now top up employees' salaries out of pocket, a requirement that was not in place during the first wave. This can result in businesses having to make tough decisions to let go of some employees or whether they can even afford to keep their doors open at all. A more complex range of issues, however, lays in the new Canada Emergency Rent Subsidy, or CERS. It is no secret that the government's original rent program, CECRA, was problematic from the start. The Canadian Chamber has actively advocated for changes to that program, and we were very pleased to see some of these included in the new CERS. Changes allowing tenants to apply directly and allowing businesses that own their properties to receive some support for fixed costs like mortgage interest payments and property taxes are good. However, four problems still remain. First, while the CERS removed the arbitrary revenue cap from the original program, it has instead introduced a new corporate entity cap where multi-unit corporate operators cannot claim more than 65% of $300,000 per month. This significantly reduces the amount of support provided to medium-sized businesses simply based on their ownership structure. There are a myriad of ways that the government can rectify this problem, but this is a problem that crosses many sectors and needs to be fixed. Second, we are concerned that a reduction in the number of patrons permitted in an establishment automatically excludes businesses from qualifying for the additional lockdown support top-up. For example, if a restaurant that can normally seat 200 guests has a public health order in its area that limits indoor dining to just 10 guests, it is not financially sound for that restaurant to open, but yet they will still be excluded from the top-up nonetheless. Businesses under strict capacity limits must be allowed to qualify for the lockdown top-up if they meet the 25% revenue threshold already designated in the legislation. Third, many of these businesses have been hanging on by a thread since April and have been anxiously waiting for these rent funds to flow for nearly 5 weeks. CERS must allow for the rent subsidy to flow directly to tenants in time for the new month's rent, rather than only after showing proof of payment. We were pleased to see the Minister of Finance commit to introducing legislation to correct this error earlier today, and we hope to see this legislation pass swiftly. And fourth, I will ask you to consider that most businesses have been without any rent support since the spring, and that the original CECRA program just simply did not work for most businesses. Though CERS will be retroactive until the end of September, we feel it would be appropriate for CERS to be retroactive to the start of the CECRA program to help make up the shortfall and deferrals that many businesses are currently struggling with. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to discussing these issues in further detail through your questions.